Welcome back to part 4 of our 30 by 40 metal building build. In this part we install the metal panels on the side along with the insulation, the roof, and the trim. I forgot to video installing the base trim, but here I am cutting one of the pieces that went in. You just install it by putting it in between your purlins and anchoring it to the concrete. First, you start with the insulation. You put a double-sided tape on the top and the bottom and then roll your insulation down. This takes 2 people. Stick it at the top, climb up the ladder, roll it down, pull it tight, and install it at the bottom. Then you start your first panel and make sure it's level. From then on, you just keep repeating the process, overlapping the panels and screwing, and also make sure that you leave a 1/4 of an inch gap off of the concrete for a drip edge, so that way water does not get up underneath and wick into your insulation, and it'll run off onto the ground instead of into your building. Right here we worked a little bit tirelessly until the night. We could only do a little bit. This was a Friday afternoon after I got off work. They got us started. The next day we continued on. Here we go, waking up the next morning and installing the first sidewall. Once you get one sidewall completed, you move over to the other sidewall, and then you do the 2 end walls. I also pre-drilled all these panels to make them where they were uniform, and I knew that the screws were going to be level when you look at them from a distance. Make sure you follow your plans that are on your paperwork for your building kit. And make sure that when you drill them that you are drilling them in the correct spot. Otherwise you're going to have a hole and it doesn't go to anything, doesn't secure it to nothing. One of the hardest things to do while we were installing this was getting the insulation tight. There was a few spots where we didn't get it quite tight enough, but all in all it looks pretty good. Just continue to put your insulation on, pull it up to there and pull it tight, and then put your panels on. Just continue to repeat the process. Some of it will be hard when you have to fit like this middle piece. It took us a little extra time to fit in between these 2 doors, but it wasn't too difficult. I think the main thing that was the hardest was sometimes the insulation wanted to fall off. It didn't quite stick on there. So you may put 2 layers of double-sided sticky tape, because you want to have enough to also roll. I think they said 8 to 10 inches overlap on each side. So top and bottom you want like 6 to 8 inches, maybe what it was, of overlap. And that mainly keeps moisture from wicking into it if that vinyl is rolled up. And what we did, some of the insulation is pretty much pre-cut, but not all of it is, so you have to especially when you get to the edges, you have to take a straight edge and use a razor knife and cut it to fit. Otherwise you'll have too much insulation. You won't be able to get the panel secured, and you could actually bow your panel. We ended up getting on this back side and started completing it. When we got to the very end, there was a storm coming, and we actually didn't get the last two panels up, and I didn't film us installing the last two panels the next day, but you'll see the clouds rolling in right here, and it starts to get to where it gets really windy, and you'll see the trees shaking pretty heavy. When we installed the roof, we started with a couple of them where we could stand on it, and once you get to where you can stand on it, we would just take a C-clamp, and we had one person at the bottom lifting it up to us, and then we pull the sheet up with the rope tied to a C-clamp, pulled it up, and then secured it. Right here I'm just installing the trim, and then that was pretty much it. The trim, mainly just put your sealing and your foam in there and secure it. It's pretty simple, but follow your instructions on your video. And that is it for this video. Thank y'all, and y'all have a great day. Like and subscribe, and as always, keep God first